From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, time now for the nation's sharpest opinion. We as a news network, as India's leading news network, are very, very concerned about the situation in Bangladesh. In fact, some of the visuals that our newsroom has got are terrible. There are Hindus who are bleeding, who have been lathi-charged, who are fighting for their lives, protesting. And then you have, of course, the continued persecution of very well-known Hindu scholar and leader Chinmoy Krishna, who faces a sedition charge against him and who continues to be in jail. He's hardly getting any food. We're very concerned for his safety. Chinmoy Krishna, a very popular young Hindu leader, and the Ministry of External Affairs here has reacted to his arrest and denial of bail. We all know, dear viewers of Republic, that the Muhammad Yunus government, which is supported by the army, has been very intolerant towards Hindus, and that Hindu properties have been targeted, Hindus have been attacked, and this Hinduphobia is absolutely real. We know that there has been continuous persecution of Hindus in Bangladesh, but situation has become very extreme in the last three months. While all of this happens, there is a global call for Hindu unity, and the good thing is that while we see pictures of this brave monk who is fighting for his rights, getting support from across the world, while we see these pictures, Hindus are also coming together through legal, peaceful but vocal means, speaking up against Hinduphobia. And I am very proud that tonight, in a couple of minutes, we will be joined by India's foremost spiritual guru, Gurudev, Shri Ravi Shankar, who will be joining us. He's already live with us. Gurudev, Pranam Charan Sparsh. Thank you for joining us. Before we go across and speak to you, Gurudev, I would like to run a small news report on the present situation in Bangladesh this evening.
एक है तो बांग्लादेश में देख रहे हो ना, वो गलतियां यहाँ नहीं होनी चाहिए। भारत हिंदू राष्ट्र की, भारत हिंदू राष्ट्र की।
In Bangladesh, Yunus police jailed a top Hindu voice, Chinmoy Krishna Prabhu. Not only did they jail him without explanations, his bail has been denied, sparking fresh protests in Bangladesh. Hindu leaders have heavily come down upon the Yunus regime.
ये आवाज़ें दबाई जा रही हैं, वहाँ के हिंदुओं को सड़कों पर निकलना चाहिए। हम आपके वीडियो के माध्यम से कहना चाहेंगे, वहाँ के हिंदू अगर सनातन की आवाज़ को दबाना चाहते हैं तो घरों में बिल्लियों की तरह छुपे रहें, चूहों की तरह छुपे रहें, वरना हिंदुत्व की शेरनी का दूध पिया हो घर से बाहर निकलें और सनातन के सिपाही को बचाएं, और इसीलिए बचाएं ताकि तुम्हारे मंदिर मस्जिद ना बन जाए।
It is unbecoming of a Prime Minister of a neighboring country to arrest a spiritual leader. He is not taking weapons, he is not taking guns, he is caring for his people. He is just standing up for the rights and want government to hear the atrocities that is being happening on the minorities there. And arresting a religious priest is not going to do any good to them or to the people or to the country or even the image of Bangladesh.
Since Yunus government's takeover of Bangladesh, violence against Hindus has only increased with every passing day. However, the ones saying all eyes on Rafah have now become radio silent about the situation in Bangladesh. At a time when even President-elect Donald Trump took to social media to voice concerns about the situation in Bangladesh, some leaders in India are still silent. The convenience-based activism of some has become too difficult for it to be brushed under the carpet. The liberal woke lobby has once again been caught sleeping while global Hinduphobia continues to be on the rise.
Gurudev, how do you view the situation in Bangladesh following the arrest of Chinmoy Krishna and the protests that have erupted across the country, not just there, but across India as well, in West Bengal and across the world?
It's so shameful for a country like Bangladesh, which was known for it being a liberal country, which has been supported by India even for its existence from the very first day, to treat their minorities the way they are treating it. You know, when Bangladesh came into existence, there were 30% of the population were Hindus, and today there are only 8%. And even these 8% of the population are reeling in fear. They are living in such uncertainty. I mean, this is inhuman. By no standard, this shows any civilization of modern times. So people must raise their voice, and then look at this. A monk there is standing up for the people, and he has been arrested, and he's been denied bail. I mean, please I would say them to keep the politics away from religion. Make sure that you take care of those radical elements who would ransack your country's peace and prosperity and take it backward. Instead of doing that, you are really unleashing such a terror on the people and the peace-loving people and people who have contributed to the economy of Bangladesh.
Gurudev, you know ISKCON well, and Shri Chinmoy Krishna is one of the most prominent leaders and icons of ISKCON in Bangladesh. What do you feel about ISKCON as an organization being linked with charges such as sedition and terrorism?
Look, ISKCON is present in so many countries around the world.
Exactly.
So many countries. They are in Russia, they are in Gulf countries, they are in South America, they are in North America and African countries. They have never been charged with sedition or not being loyal to their own country where they are. You can't blame someone who is living in a country who follows Hinduism as not being honest or being loyal to their own country. Religion and the country are two different things. See, there are Christians living in India. We don't think that they are only, they are loyal only to Vatican. There are Muslims living in India. They are fully Indian Muslims and who are so full of Deshbhakt. They have many Muslims in India. They identify themselves with only India. Like that, Bangladesh Hindus, they identify themselves with only Bangladesh. So it's a confusion or mixing up nationality with religion and falsely accusing a priest of being, sedition.
Yes.
I think it's unfortunate. It's not going to do any good for Bangladesh, Arnab.
It won't. I just saw while we were just preparing to get you on live, a statement has come out from the Bangladesh government, which says that these are internal matters and that the arrest of Shri Chinmoy Krishna Das on quote-unquote specific charges, does not specify what those charges are, and says that this is an internal matter. Now, to some extent, technically, the government of Bangladesh can argue that it's an internal matter, but is it? Is it not a humanitarian matter? Is it wrong for Hindus across the world to feel concerned about what is happening to the Hindu community in Bangladesh?
Human rights is a global issue. I would say, Mr. Professor Muhammad Yunus, you have won the Nobel Peace Prize. You know human rights and human values are a global issue. Like the weather could be an internal issue, but today weather is a global issue. Similarly, violence is not limited to one country, or if a country is suffering of any cause, every other country pitches in. When there is COVID, we didn't say it is your internal matter. We don't need to do anything about COVID.
Yeah.
Entire world comes, if there is a flood in Bangladesh, all other countries don't turn their face away saying it's your internal matter. The entire world comes to you and stands shoulder by shoulder to you and help you. Similarly, if you are really, causing such a, issue which would create fear in a certain population of your country based on religion, and people around the world will stand up and take notice of it.
I think the important point that you have raised here, Gurudev, is that our relationship with Bangladesh runs very deep. We have, as you have said, played a very key role in the emergence of an independent Bangladesh in 1971. But not just that, we have also provided shelter to an estimated 10-11 million refugees during that liberation war. We are one of the first countries to recognize Bangladesh as a separate state. And our cultural connections run very deep, which predate our modern political boundaries. So I think it's wrong to look at this as quote unquote an internal matter. There's a very bad situation there, and Bangladesh is a crucial neighbor to us. We are also a crucial neighbor to Bangladesh. Do you think somewhere the Yunus government is falling into the trap of extremist groups, Islamist extremist groups, and is having to pander to that?
No, I have already said that radical elements should be reined in, and they should not be allowed to ransack the country and the peace and prosperity of a nation. Why would so many Hindus would come on the street if their security is not threatened, if their properties are not burned? They would come.
My concern also is, Gurudev, that sometimes, these situations are created by governments who are not able to handle an economic situation, or who are not able to handle a law and order situation, who are not able to handle an energy crisis. We saw reports of an energy crisis, that the Bangladesh government not able to pay its power bills to the Adani group. These are, of course, economic matters, but I think governments must be concerned and wary that they can't distract people from the real issues that face them, I hope you get a sense of where my direction of my question is, that you can't distract angry people by making them focus on targeting the Hindu community. It's not a resolution to the intrinsic problems of Bangladesh.
You're absolutely right, Arnab. Targeting the minority is not going to help them. And it's not a small number. Even if it's a small number, even then, it is the onus of protecting them is on the government. That's 8% of Hindus of that country, and what must be happening in them if their homes are looted and burned, their shops are looted, and not just Hindus, and people who support Hindus are also any right-minded people, anyone with some sense will all stand for the rights of the minorities there. And they are doing it. So you cannot take for granted a population that can be ruled by suppression. The voice of young people, of the Hindu community, and those who support human rights, they all stand together to condemn this act. World over, I'm telling you, not just in Bangladesh. Any such human rights violation will be supported, will be condemned, and people will support those victims of human rights violation from around the globe.
Your voice carries a lot of weight, Gurudev, and people look up to you. Hindus, people follow you spiritually, global leaders follow you, Gurudev. What is your message to Hindus in Bangladesh and Hindus across the world who feel very, very upset at what is going on in that country?
No, see, peaceful protest is the right of every citizen of the world, I would say every citizen of every country. And they should be given, they should be heard, and sense should prevail, you know.
Well, I'm sure it will, and I feel your words will go a long way. Gurudev, Shri Ravi Shankar, I'm most grateful to you that you've lent your voice to this very important subject in a very critical time. Thank you very much, Pranam, and thank you for joining me on Republic this evening, Gurudev.
Wonderful, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Well, it was good to have Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankar with us set the theme for this conversation. I have with us the director of ISKCON Communications, Yudhishthir Govinda Das. I have with us also Pandit Satish Sharma, who is a very well-known Hindu scholar and activist from London. And we have Sushil Pandit with us. We are all very concerned. Ahmad Ayaz, Abdul Razak Khan on the other side, Tariq Lari. I can see Haji Nazim Khan, Muslim scholar, right? And, you know, we all want to know what's going on. First of all, Yudhishthir Govinda Das, if I can start with you. How are you tackling the situation? Will you be able to get Shri Chinmoy Krishna Das released? What is his present legal situation? What kind of charges does he face?
So, thank you very much, Arnab ji, for having me on the show. As we have been seeing through the media reports, Chinmoy Krishna Das ji, who's a spokesperson of the Sanatan Jagrati Manch of Bangladesh, was picked up from the Dhaka airport, and subsequently today he was denied bail. So this is a matter that we all have been voicing, that the Hindu rights, the Hindu interests, the Hindu safety is something that is paramount, as is the safety of any other in the society. And this is what we have been asking, and this is what I think all the other Sanatani Hindu groups in Bangladesh have been asking for. And the movement, what Chinmoy Krishna Das ji and his associates were leading, was basically asking for the protection of temples, protection of the Hindu establishments, the lives, and the perpetrators who have committed attacks or whoever has been involved in violence. They should be charged and they should be taken through the due process of the law. So that has been the simple request.
What is the charge against him? And what is he accused of doing? Did I lose the link? What is the charge against him, Yudhishthir ji?
Arnab.
As we have been informed that the charges pertain to sedition. That's the information I have received at this point.
How is asking Hindus to come together amounting to sedition?
That is something that I think only the government can answer, because what he has been doing is just peacefully coming together along with other Hindus, asking for their safety and protection.
Well, this will be defeated. Abdul Razak wants to make a comment tonight on a very difficult situation. Yes, Abdul Razak.
Arnab, atrocities on any community in any country should be condemned to the maximum possible. I am saying similar situations we have faced in India as well. The whole world has witnessed 1992. The whole world has witnessed 2002. I am saying there is a list of Maulanas who have been arrested even to date. Maulana Salman Azhari, Maulana Suhail Abu Bakr, Maulana Jahangir Alam. He is similar
Sushil
to
Pandit
what Shri Chinmoy Krishna Das ji does.
Absolutely not, sir.
I am saying Maulana
Absolutely
Abdul
not,
Rahim
sir.
Rathod, Maulana Suhail
Absolutely
Ansari,
not,
Maulana
sir.
Dr. Zakir Nayak. What was his fault? No, Arnabji.
Zakir Naik's fault is that he supports acts of terrorism.
But situation in India is worse.
Zakir Naik's fault is that he...
at least Hindus in Bangladesh are
fault
safe.
is that he supports
Their houses
terrorism.
are not bulldozed.
He supports
they are
terrorism.
Not being mob lynched.
I think you should stop shouting. Sadhvi Jayabharati and Sushil Pandit, we have a situation tonight where Hindu voices are being targeted. I would like Sushil Pandit to respond to that. People trying to find a false equivalence between the situation in Bangladesh and in India.
Why are your eyes blind for Gaza?
Well, I would like to bring Sushil Pandit in, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Please, let's keep the discussion reasonable.
Thank you, Arnab.
Let's keep the discussion reasonable, sir. Thank you. Sushil.
Yes. Thank you, Arnab, for this opportunity. Arnab, I'm speaking from personal example, lived and experienced example. It is jihad's strategy to aim for the very top, those who are the voice and the face of resistance, non-violent resistance, become the first target, become the only target in order to demoralize the masses so that nobody dares to speak up. Nobody dares to bring up the facts. Nobody dares to challenge jihad on its own terms. Now, this is what is happening in Bangladesh today with Goswamiji's arrest. Now, I heard Gurudev Shri, and I heard you. You referred to ethnic affinity. You referred to cultural affinity. You referred to linguistic affinity with Bangladesh. But let's not forget, as far as jihad is concerned, all these issues are mere little sacrifices at the altar of a larger goal, which is Islamist supremacy. And they would never consider, in Bangladesh, Bengali, the language, was supposed to be compromised in order to create a monolith led by Urdu. This is what gave birth to Bangladesh, but since then, jihad has taken over. The society is radicalized, and it is not just the common masses. I will name one gentleman called Mahmudur Rahman. He is the editor of Amradesh in Bangladesh. He's an engineer. He's an industrialist. This man went public, wrote an editorial calling for a ban on ISKCON, calling ISKCON a terrorist organization. Now, he's an English-speaking, educated businessman who even headed the Bangladesh Investment Board. He was part of Khalida Zia administration. Now, it is from top to bottom that the societies become hostile to minorities in Bangladesh, particularly Hindus. And they are using all arms of the state, all mechanisms, all tools in order to target Hindus.
The situation is so bad today that advocates...
Last but not the least important point, last point, Arnab. Appealing to Bangladesh system is futile. We need to appeal to our own government. 95% of Bangladesh border is with India. India is the responsible power in this region. It is our government, it is our system that needs to go to the rescue of Bangladeshi Hindus in whatever manner they deem fit. But we cannot just do lip service.
Tariq Lari is on the debate, ladies and gentlemen. Tariq Lari is on the debate. And I want to say that Muslim unity is called brotherhood, but Hindu unity is called fascism. When Hindus unite, and Hindus are uniting all across the world, they are said, you're fascist. But if Muslims come together, it is called Muslim brotherhood. These are some contradictions that we must address right now. Jai Shri Ram is not a murderous cry. Jai Shri Ram is a unifying religious invocation. Ladies and gentlemen, Hindu phobia is a reality. And I am proud of people like Sushil Pandit, like Pandit Satish Sharma, who are highlighting it at an institutional level across the world. Situation बहुत गंभीर है. तारिक लारी जी, आप देख रहे हैं जिस तरह से वहाँ पे इस्कॉन के इतने बड़े एक स्कॉलर को, एक लीडर को हिरासत में ली गई, टेररिज्म के चार्जेस लगा दिए उन पर. और आपको पता है कि किस तरह से बांग्लादेश में हिंदूज आर बीइंग टारगेटेड. दिस इज अ ह्यूमैनिटेरियन इशू, इट्स नॉट अ हिंदू मुस्लिम इशू. I feel bad if there are some Muslims on my panel who are feeling happy that Hindus are being targeted. What happiness do you get, Razak? If Hindus are being targeted, you feel happy about it?
नहीं देखिए,
you feel happy if Hindu homes are
I
targeted?
condemn the
Hindu
attack.
homes are burnt?
Nobody is happy, Arnab ji.
Yeah, Tariq Lari, please. Tariq Lari.
Nobody is happy. We
Tariq
condemn
Lari.
what's happening in Bangladesh. And
Not
Islam
enough.
does not
Not
preach
enough.
that.
Tariq Lari, please.
नहीं देखिए, आप एक ही डंडे से भैंस को या गाय को हाँकते हैं, ये गलत बात है। हर धर्म में, हर कम्युनिटी में, हर मोहल्ले में, हर घर में कुछ चुनिंदा लोग, जैसे हर घर में एक शख्स मिलेगा आपको, ऐसे ही मोहल्ले में चुनिंदा लोग मिलेंगे, ऐसे ही धर्म में कुछ चुनिंदा लोग मिलेंगे।
ये सरकार की बात है, कोई मोहल्ले की बात नहीं चल रही है। ये मोहम्मद यूनुस सरकार की एक औपचारिक पोजीशन की बात कर रहे हैं। आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट गला मोहल्ले का मामला। प्लीज,
आपकी बात का जवाब दे रहा हूं कि कुछ मुसलमान खुश है, तो उसका जवाब पहले मैं दे रहा हूं। तो वो चुनिंदा लोग होते हैं जो ऐसे जलालत वाली सोच रखते हैं, बाकी नहीं होते हैं। 99.99% ऐसे नहीं होते। तो पहले तो ये बात निकाल दीजिएगा। दूसरी बात ये रही कि किसी के इंटरनल मैटर में, जैसे इंडिया के इंटरनल मैटर में जब कोई बोलता है तो इंडिया गवर्नमेंट चिल्लाती है, आप लोग भी चिल्लाते हैं कि हमारे इंटरनल मैटर में कोई क्यों बोल सकता है, किसकी क्या हैसियत है। तो ऐसे ही हमारी भी हैसियत नहीं है कि हम बांग्लादेश के इंटरनल मैटर में
तारिक
बात सुन लीजिए। देखिए बात सुननी पड़ेगी, आज थोड़ी बात सुन लीजिए।
गलत बात नहीं सुनेंगे, गलत बात नहीं, प्लीज। आपने
तारिक लारी जी, आपको इंटरप्ट किया साध्वी जया भारती ने। 2 मिनट प्लीज, 2 मिनट साध्वी जया भारती जी। तारिक लारी जी, देखिए, आप चाहते हैं कि हम चुप रहें और जो तस्वीरें हमारे सामने आई है, जो हमारे फोन्स पे आई है, जिस तरह से हिंदुओं को टारगेट किया जा रहा है, मैं आपको कहना चाहता हूं, तारिक लारी जी, हम चुप नहीं रहेंगे। वी विल नॉट बी क्वाइट। We will not be quiet. It is not Bangladesh's internal matter.
मेरी बात तो पूरी कंप्लीट हो जाने दीजिए। आप तो बातें नहीं कंप्लीट होने दे रहे हैं।
नहीं, मैं जानना चाहता हूं, तारिक लारी जी, मेरी बात सुनिए। 1 मिनट साध्वी जी, मैं एक पॉइंट देना चाहता हूं। सारे ये लोग जो हर दिन, मुफ्ती जियाई जी, हर दिन, हर दूसरे दिन मोर्चा संभालते हैं फिलिस्तीन के लिए, जो पार्लियामेंट में जाके जय फिलिस्तीन कहते हैं, वो हमें कह रहे हैं कि बांग्लादेश में हिंदुओं के साथ जो हो रहा है वो उनका इंटरनल मैटर है। तो भाई आप क्यों फिलिस्तीन के इंटरनल मैटर में घुस रहे हैं? नहीं, व्हाई आर यू गेटिंग इनटू गाजा? गाजा इंटरनल मैटर है। नहीं, ये क्या बात है? हम क्यों माने इंटरनल मैटर? हर दिन गाजा पर लखनऊ के चौराहे पे प्रोटेस्ट करने वाले लोग कह रहे हैं ये बांग्लादेश इंटरनल मैटर है। क्यों है इंटरनल मैटर? किस तरह की इंटरनल मैटर हो गई? इट्स नॉट एन इंटरनल मैटर।
हर जगह मैटर है, हर जगह अपने अपने मैटर है। पहले आप मेरी बात तो कंप्लीट होने दीजिए। आपने मेरी बात तो कंप्लीट होने दी नहीं, एक लाइन पे आप उछल गए। पहले बात कंप्लीट करने दीजिए। भाई जो हुआ है, अब वहां का जो मैटर हुआ है कि आतंकवादी घटना या कोई भी इंटरनल घटना पे मैं उस पर दिमाग नहीं लगा सकता हूं। मेरे अपने
आतंकवादी कैसे हो गए? ये आतंकवादी लगते हैं। 1 मिनट, आई प्रोटेस्ट। एक हिंदू सन्यासी को आपने आतंकवादी कहा, कैसे कहा? कैसे आतंकवादी बने? साध्वी जया भारती is on the debate, open debate tonight. Sadhvi Jaya Bharti and Mufti then on the debate. Yeah, Sadhvi Jaya Bharti, louder please.
Yeah, one thing, Arnab, this gentleman said that it's an internal matter. I remember when the CAA passed in India and these people said that Bangladeshi Muslims and Rohingya should be allowed, and their leaders have been talking on top of their voices and saying उनका नबी और हमारा नबी एक है, हमारी किताब उनकी किताब एक है, हम दुनिया में किसी भी कोने में हो, हम अपने ईमान की वजह से एक हैं। You become one universally, and when some other community goes out and asks for unity and they ask for the security, you call it internal matter. You people are so double-faced and hypocrite, and I am here with the jihad topic that has been spoken about the previous speaker. I tell you, the persecution of Hindus has been a global phenomenon, and the problem is that Hindu is never expected to retaliate and respond. it is only
कौन बोल रहा है ना बोलिए
that the Hindus are reacting today, that these people cannot digest it. And right now, you know, these, I would have welcomed these Hindus, these Muslim people from India who would have spoken as a...
1 minute, Tariq, I can't hear her. Please don't speak over her. Please listen to us, sir. There's a bad audio line.
किसी को नहीं रोक रहा है, हम लोग किसी को नहीं रोक रहा बांग्लादेश के मैटर में बोलने से। आप खुद चिल्ला चिल्ला के बोलिए, सड़कों पर बोलिए,
आपने जो बात कही, आप लोग
कहाँ को भी कह रहा है कुछ? You are allowed. This is a free country.
1 minute, Tariq Ladi, may I allow her to complete her point? Sadhvi Jayabharti, please continue.
Yeah, Arnab, you know, it's a very, thank you for even taking that. You know, there's a global persecution against Hindus. There's a history of Hindu persecution, documented genocide for centuries. And obviously, this Mr. Pandit has already spoken that it's in the trail of jihad. And look at the way these people, they wage jihad over Hindus, and immediately after that they start playing victims. This gentleman just said that it is about a sir, I'm not talking about your terminology, the world knows it. Don't go into that. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Don't go into that.
मुस्लिम देखते हैं वहीं जिहाद का शब्द इस्तेमाल करते हैं।
मुस्लिम देखते हैं, मुस्लिम हाँ, पूछिए पंडित
हाजी नजीम खान, लाउडर।
पूछिए पंडित जी से, जो जेनोसाइड रिकॉर्ड पे है इस्लाम के हाथ में।
नेटवर्क खराब है। हाजी नजीम जी, I'll improve your audio and come back to be replaced by Mufti Manzoor Zia. Yes, please. Now,
Hindus are never expected that they should retaliate, and this is in Bangladesh. They are calling it terrorism. It is their fight for survival. What are they talking about? The only thing that the Hindus are demanding is that their security and the right to survival, and that has been denied to them. And they are talking about internal matters and communities here. It is not even a human panel discussion that these people are giving. It is my fight for survival.
No, I am actually Mufti Zaiji, before you come in, I am so proud of the Hindus in Bangladesh who are fighting such a brave battle. 8% of the population, they are not giving up. We are proud of you. And I would say that you continue to fight peacefully, legally, but vocally. And as all of us know, you can't afford to be quiet. If you're quiet, they will think you are weak. And you're not weak. Hindus are not weak. Hindus are 1 minute, let me complete what I'm saying. Hindus are strong. Hindus are united. And Hindus are 1.3 to 1.4 billion people in the world. Hinduism is the third largest religion in the world. And Hindus will no longer hear, Hindus will no longer hear this lecture saying to be a good Hindu, you must be quiet. I would say to be a good Hindu, you must be assertive. You must be vocal. You must know what your rights are. And nothing can put you down when the truth is with you. Ji, आवाज उठाओ. So I want to, and I want to say, Mufti Ziai ji, Satyagraha is a Hindu concept. है ना? So we know how to fight. What is happening in Bangladesh is terrible. Now, every second day, ये बताइए, Mufti Manzoor Ziai ji, Muslim leaders say we must talk about what is happening in Gaza. Why is our government not talking about what is happening in Gaza? But when people are being killed 100 kilometers across the border, then you say, why do you need to interfere in the internal affairs of Bangladesh? 1 minute. Boliye, and I want Pandit Satish Sharma on the line.
इत्तला देना चाहता हूं कि जिन लोगों ने भी बांग्लादेश में हमारे हिंदू भाइयों के साथ जुल्म और ज्यादती की है, उस और जुल्म और ज्यादती के खिलाफ हिंदुस्तान का मुसलमान और हिंदुस्तान का हिंदू और पूरे हिंदुस्तानी सभी लोग उस बात के साथ खड़े हैं कि कभी भी ऐसे हमारे भाइयों के साथ जो जुल्म होगा, उस जुल्म को हम बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे। हिंदुस्तान के तमाम मुसलमानों की एक राय है, और वो राय ये है कि हमारे मुसलमान भाई हो या हिंदू भाई हो और बांग्लादेश हो,
आज ओवैसी चुप क्यों है?
हमारे इंडियन पर
ओवैसी चुप क्यों है? बोलने की बात एक होती है, करने की अलग होती है। ऑल इंडिया मुस्लिम पर्सनल लॉ बोर्ड चुप क्यों है? ऑल इंडिया मजलिस इत्तिहादुल मुस्लिमीन चुप क्यों है? कांग्रेस पार्टी चुप क्यों है? हाँ जी,
इंडिया वीक नहीं है, इंडिया मजबूत है। और
मैं इंडिया की बात ही नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं ये राजनीतिक दल जो इधर राजनीतिक जल जो हर वक्त मुस्लिम अपीसमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं, उनकी बात कर रहा हूँ, उनकी बात कर रहा हूँ मैं।
इंडियन के ऊपर जुल्म किया जाए,
मैं तो
इंडियन है कि हमारे इंडियन भाई पर जुल्म होगा, चाहे
मैं स्यूडो सेक्युलर लोगों की बात कर रहा हूँ,
बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे।
मैं स्यूडो सेक्युलर लोगों की बात कर रहा हूँ।
अपने पॉलिटिक्स चमकाने की बात करते हैं, आप इंडियन की बात करें ना, आम इंडियन की राय लें, आप मुसलमान की राय लें, आप हिंदुस्तानी की राय लें ना। हम हिंदुस्तानी वो लोग हैं जो अपने हिंदुस्तानी भाइयों के लिए दुनिया से लड़ सकते हैं।
भैया क्योंकि मुफ्ती ज़ियाई जी एक मिनट, क्योंकि आप लोगों के सामने अगर मैं कभी कहूँ कि हिंदू फोबिया जैसी चीज़ होती है तो आपके कहाँ हिंदू फोबिया है? भाई मुझे तो पता है कि कनाडा में हिंदुओं को कहा गया लीव द कंट्री, है ना? और ब्रिटिश, अरे एक मिनट मेरी बात सुन लीजिए, मेरी बात सुन, देखिए
इंडिया में कहा गया
इंडियंस के साथ खड़े,
अरे आप मेरी बात सुन लीजिए मान्यवर, मेरी बात यू प्लीज लिसन टू मी, लिसन टू मी, ये 2024 है एंड नाउ वी आर टॉकिंग टू न्यू अवेकेंड हिंदूज अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड. There's a global Hindu unity project which is going on. You know, in Britain, global Hindu unity आपको तकलीफ है?
नहीं बिल्कुल तकलीफ नहीं।
नेशन फर्स्ट तो हम कहते हैं, हिंदू यूनिटी आपके लिए खतरा है क्या?
और वो मजबूत
इज हिंदू यूनिटी a खतरा फॉर यू?
बिल्कुल नहीं, हमारे लिए कोई खतरा
नहीं। तो डोंट गेट एंग्री देन,
हमारे हिंदू भाई मजबूत हो
जी।
पूरी दुनिया में इंडिया
जब हिंदू फोबिया हो रहा है तो हिंदू ही तो बोलेंगे, और नहीं तो कौन बोलेंगे?
नहीं,
आपके घर पे कोई अटैक करे तो घर वाले ही तो आवाज उठाएंगे।
किसी से डरता नहीं।
हाँ जी,
हिंदुस्तान का हिंदू कभी किसी से डरता नहीं,
डरने की बात ही नहीं है, मगर नो 1 मिनट, कौन डरता है? हम तो कह रहे हैं डोंट टेक इट लाइंग डाउन, हिट बैक।
वी आर इंडियन और हम कभी किसी से नहीं डरते।
नो, वी आर इंडियन एंड देन हिंदू, बट कैन यू से that you are also Indian and then Muslim?
No, we are Indian also.
No, not Indian also. I'll say I'm an Indian first, Bharatiya first and then a Hindu.
Yes.
Will you say that?
हिंदू भाई पर भी कहीं पर जुल्म होगा तो किसी भी मुल्क ने जुल्म।
नहीं, आप मेरे क्वेश्चन का आंसर नहीं दे रहे।
बांग्लादेश को बर्दाश्त नहीं करेंगे।
Anyway, now my question is, Hinduphobia is real. Ladies and gentlemen, 2020 में there was a caricature of Preeti Patel. She was mocked. She was I think she was the Home Minister of United Kingdom. You know why she was mocked? Because she's a Hindu. Most anti-Hindu crimes कहाँ हो रही है? कैलिफोर्निया में. Even well-known players like cricketer Danish Kaneria has to be targeted because he's a Hindu.
अरे कनाडा में, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में कौन मारा जा रहा है?
हाँ, लक्ष्मी नारायण मंदिर है कनाडा के ब्रिटिश कोलंबिया में, वो टारगेट हुई है। राम मंदिर है मिसग कनाडा में, उस पर टारगेट हुई है। स्वामीनारायण मंदिर टारगेट हुई है न्यूयॉर्क कैलिफोर्निया में।
अरे
भाई की बात कर रहे हैं। आई एम सेइंग हिंदू, एंटी हिंदू जो लोग हैं इन्होंने टारगेट किया है, हिंदू फोबिक लोगों ने टारगेट किया है। जैसे जूस को टारगेट किया वैसे हिंदूज को टारगेट किया है। जैसे जूस को टारगेट किया गया था, जैसे हिटलर ने जूस को टारगेट किया था, वैसे हिंदूज को टारगेट किया जा रहा है दुनिया भर में।
अपना रिश्ता मुनक़ता कर लेवे ना। अमेरिका और कनाडा के साथ हिंदुस्तान अपना रिश्ता।
मैं हिंदू, आई एम मेकिंग अ पॉइंट दैट हिंदूज हैव बीन टारगेटेड। आपको बुरा क्यों लग रहा है?
किसने टारगेट किया? टारगेट किया? किस कम्युनिटी ने टारगेट किया?
आपको गुस्सा क्यों आ रहा है? See, are you seeing this, Pandit Satish Sharma? I merely have to mention, I merely have to mention that Hindus are being targeted and there is an insane amount of opposition to what I'm saying. मैंने गलत क्या कहा?
This is the very mindset, this is the very Islamic hate towards Hindus that is targeting Hindus across the world. You've spoken about, I am talking about the Pennsylvania, I am talking about California, I am talking about Smithwick, everywhere, whether it is, desecrating Hindu temples, whether it is desecrating Hindu scriptures, whether it is mocking Hindu people, whether it is, tilting the cow heads and throwing them in front of the temples. You just have to Google and there'll be a lot of instances. Yes, Hindu phobia is real for globally, and right now, just because even there's a rise of Hindu consciousness, Hindus were not expected that they will take up a call and they will retaliate, they will demand for their security.
I'd like to go across to one or two guests from Bangladesh if I can, because I have just had this reaction from the Bangladesh government which says whatever is happening to the ISKCON priest is our internal matter. I'd like to get a view from Pandit Satish Sharma, who's listening in from London. You're listening into the conversation. I'm sure you're up to date with what's happening in Bangladesh. Is this issue being discussed and debated among Hindus in the United Kingdom, elsewhere across the world as well?
Good evening, Arnabji and Jai Shri Ram, to yourself and to everybody on the panel. Firstly, if I can just make an observation, I'm deeply saddened at the lack of compassion for simple humans who are struggling to stay alive in the country of Bangladesh, demonstrated by some of your co-panelists. It's very difficult to see a solution arising when basic respect for the freedom to live, just to live and to have freedom of religion, is not respected by people who appear to be eminent clerics. So putting that to one side, yes, this is being raised in every corner, but I think for Hindus internationally, for us, this is now a moment of incredible learning. We are going to see all of the hypocrites come out, all of the people who, when CAA was introduced, were beating their breasts and saying that this is discriminatory. Well, we are seeing the evidence for why CAA was so critical and so necessary. It's a strange situation that, from a Sanatani position, we do not believe that a human being is born with hatred, that hatred has to be deliberately and consciously seeded in the heart of a vulnerable child and then nurtured and fuel poured on that fire so that that child can one day become a terrorist who cannot see the shared humanity in a person in front of him and can only see blind hatred. And so this is not something which is accidental. It was predictable. My heart goes out to Sushilji as well. The number of times I have seen him and heard him screaming from the treetops that this is going to happen, and it happens repeatedly again and again. One dimension I'd like to bring into this is that is the hypocrisy of the international community. Where are the United Nations peacekeeping forces? Where are the British government's Foreign and Commonwealth Office members saying we need desperately a humanitarian corridor? You know, where is the voice which is saying that these Hindus are being persecuted are in fact the indigenous residents and citizens living in their own homeland, with their traditional indigenous culture being ethnically cleansed? Where are the voices of Shamnesty International demanding some sort of intervention? The silence is absolutely deafening. And I think this is something that the Indian government really now needs to look up at. The British government have an entity here called Open Doors UK. Every year they issue a list of countries where Christians are being persecuted. And I've had a glimpse. It's going to be launched in January. And would you believe that India is at number 11 on this list of international perpetrators of violence against Christians and minorities? Bangladesh, would you believe, is at number 26. So Bangladesh apparently, in the league table, is way beneath India when it comes to the protection of minority rights. This is not based on evidence. This is spreading hatred. You have mentioned that we're seeing the rise of hatred. This is not an accident. We saw it being seeded when Vivek Ramaswamy was interviewed by Ann Coulter. And she said, well, I love your policies, but I can't vote for you because you're a Hindu. We saw it being seeded in California, and we have heard it and seen it being seeded in Bangladesh. It's apparent the state in Bangladesh has never adhered to or respected the rights of the Hindus. It would have gotten rid of the Enemy Vested Properties Act a long time ago, which openly allows for property from Hindus to be seized. Hindus have no human rights in Bangladesh. I think it's absolutely necessary for the international community to step in. If the international community does not step in, the global Hindu diaspora will need to reconsider its assessment of the capacity of nation states like Britain, like the United States, to even have an interest in protecting Hindu national rights.
I think the global Hindu diaspora needs to come together and see this as a wake-up call. And if Hindus are going to be taken for granted everywhere in the world, Pandit Satish Sharma, and we are quiet saying, oh, but we are in a secular country. We are in a secular country. First of all, I want to make the point here that we are in a secular country with a lot of pseudo-secular people. And Ahmadiyas, 94% of Hindus across the world, 94-95% of Hindus across the world live in India. And over 80-82% of the population of India is Hindus, right? India's cultural heritage is because we are the center of the Hindu civilization. You may not like it, but the fact is Hindu civilization is at the core of India's being. Okay? because the Hindu civilization emerges out of India. Okay, so now we have a situation out here. And I'm glad you mentioned Amnesty International. I would like to add to that list all the pseudo-seculars. Where are people, for example, like Prashant Bhushan today? They will lose their Twitter following. Where are people like Arundhati Roy today? You see, where are these newspapers? Where are the front page headlines in The Guardian? Is there a front page headline in The Guardian? Not a word. Not a word.
May respond.
Yes, you may respond. You may respond. But there is going to be a fight back of the Hindu community like never before. And the Hindu community is very educated, very powerful, right? And there are 1.4 billion people on this planet. Republic Media Network calls on the Hindu community to come together at this time. Ahmad Ayaz, yes, please.
You see, Arnab, despite the fact that every country has its set of rules, own set of rules and own system to operate. But with all that, there are issues sometimes which can have
Is he a terrorist? Is Chinmoy Krishna Das a terrorist?
There are issues like this, whatever has happened,
like what?
Have global ramifications, and nobody can deny that. Because normally no religious leader, no religiously fellow.
So all the terrorists have been released by Bangladesh, and a single Hindu monk has been arrested.
Wait.
Do you know the heads of the terrorist groups who have been released? You have had Muhammad Yunus sitting in meetings with them.
Now let me complete my point. I say that we should believe that no religiously fellow is expected to be
Don't say no
in
religious.
Any criminal activity.
Don't say no religious.
No.
There are only 150 Sikhs and Hindus left in Afghanistan. Did you ever remember what's happening to the Hindus and Sikhs in Afghanistan?
I say no religiously fellow is expected, but unfortunately still, if there is anything such that
you don't even acknowledge. You don't even acknowledge that Kashmiri Pandits had a genocide in Kashmir. People like you.
No. If you relate to the genocide, I may say no.
I don't relate to the genocide. I want you to admit it.
Right. No, it can't be admitted so because...
Why can't it be admitted? It will make you feel guilty.
No.
It will make you feel guilty.
It cannot be just... No, we cannot accept just what you say is true. It is not that.
What do you accept?
So far,
the Al-Qaeda reality.
It was a situation where even Muslim also was a victim. It's not only...
so along with Kashmiri Pandits, Muslims were victims.
A minority was victim. Everybody had a problem, but the unfortunate part was the Muslims were in majority. They could not move. They could not flee around. That was an issue. Otherwise, they were equally
You're saying Muslims, while being perpetrators, are also victims.
Were a sufferer, and you will say that it was a genocide against...
You're blind, Ahmad Ayaz. You're blind.
Not at all. No,
you're blind.
I'm blind. I'm very open. I'm very open.
You're not blind, actually. You're pretending to be blind.
No, he's willfully lying. He's willfully lying. Not just, he's not blind. He knows. And he's willfully lying.
I say based on the facts and the ground realities were
he's so willfully lying.
So I'm speaking on the facts.
He knows.
And he's it's untrue what I say. It was not aimed against the Kashmiri Pandits, but unfortunately they were in the minority, and that's why they had no option except to
they had no option. Same thing will be said about Bangladesh. Same thing will be said about Bangladesh. It was not aimed at the Hindus in Bangladesh. Unfortunately, they were in a minority, and therefore they had no option but to leave Bangladesh. I say, welcome the Hindus from Bangladesh with open arms.
Look at the prevarication.
CAA was created for moments like this.
Has a right to exist.
India is the natural home of Hindus.
World to exist.
We have to give shelter to Hindus who are targeted across the world.
But still, if it's a matter of law and order...
Haji Nizam Khan is with us right now. Haji Nizam Khan, you wanted to say something last time. Aap kuch keh rahe the.
In the process, no innocent should suffer. Belonging
Volume बढ़ाइए, जी बोलिए.
That's the responsibility of that country.
हाँ, अर्नब जी देखिए जिस तरीके से बांग्लादेश में हिंदू भाइयों के साथ जो घटना घट रही है, भारतीय मुस्लिम है. हाँ, देखिए हम भारतीय मुस्लिम हैं, हम चाहते हैं कि वहाँ हमारे हिंदू भाइयों को सुरक्षा मिले. और देखिए भारत सरकार की नैतिक जिम्मेदारी है कि बांग्लादेश को अखंड भारत का हिस्सा बना ले, ताकि देखिए हम लोग अखंड भारत के हिस्से में और भारत सरकार के साथ खड़े हुए। लेकिन जिस तरीके से बांग्लादेश के अंदर हिंदू भाइयों के साथ हो रहा है, तो हम देखिए मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी पूरे अपने तन मन धन से हिंदू भाइयों के साथ खड़ी हुई है। लेकिन जिस तरीके से मुसलमानों के साथ अगर हो रहा है, तो मुसलमानों के साथ कोई नहीं है, क्योंकि देखिए हम लोग तो संविधान से चलता है, हम लोग अपने सुरक्षा की गुहार लगाते हैं, लेकिन हम लोगों को
I think the most important thing right now is that the global Hindu community should, and I think that a suggestion is there, and I think it's a good suggestion. You can discuss it. You can share this video elsewhere, ladies and gentlemen. I think the global Hindu community. Can I have a moment, please? I think the global Hindu community should start a campaign so that the Nobel Committee, which gave the Nobel Prize to Muhammad Yunus, should take back the award because of his continued persecution of the Hindu community, his cohabitation with Islamist groups, and his role in targeting the Hindu community's lives and properties in Bangladesh. The Nobel Committee should take back the award that it gave him. What do you think, Sushil Pandit? What do you think, Pandit Satish Sharma? We need to exercise our pressure. Hindus across the world need to come together to exercise pressure and make their voice heard. What do you think, Sushil? Can we do something like that to embarrass them, to push them back, to make them accountable?
Arnab, indeed. But we are, absolutely, but we are dealing with thick-skinned people, Arnab. They care to hoots. They are today, they have pounced on the Hindus of Bangladesh. They are relentlessly target them. Today we need to rescue these Hindus. Unarmed, peaceful, innocent Hindus, that should be the first priority. Their ladies, their daughters and sisters are being humiliated, their homes vandalized, their shops looted. There should be our first priority. And India should take responsibility. Indian state, Indian government, Indian system, Indian people should take responsibility. They are left behind by us in the wake of partition. We are responsible. It is our natural home. It is their natural home. We need to reach out. They have no one else in the world, Arnab. They are looking at India with hope. They have no one else.
सर बांग्लादेश को अखंड भारत का हिस्सा बनाने में आप लोगों को क्या दिक्कत है? हम चाहते हैं कि अखंड भारत के अंदर बांग्लादेश आना चाहिए.
Community are going to be lobbying the government to sanction Bangladesh.
Well, I think
the British community are going to be lobbying the government to reconsider whether they're going to get a free trade agreement with a Hindu majority nation ignoring Hindu rights in Bangladesh. I think we need to be more robust now. It's not enough just to get rid of Nobel Peace Prize handles. This has to be dealt with at an international level. If Bharat has the capacity to demand a seat at the United Nations Security Council, now is the time for it to step forward and say, what is the point of the United Nations Security Council when Hindus internationally are feeling so insecure?
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is a very serious matter. We'll continue to pursue it. As of now, Republic Bangla and the Republic Media Network is committed to speaking up for the Hindu community and for Chinmoy Krishna Prabhu, who has been illegally arrested in Bangladesh, and today, most unfortunately, his bail has been denied as well. This is just one instance in a series of instances of Hinduphobia. We must come together and speak up for what is right. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night and goodbye.